Welcome to the world of Quahog, Rhode Island, where the Griffin family's zany adventures have been entertaining us for decades. With its unique blend of cutaway gags, witty humor, and lovable characters, Family Guy has become a staple of adult animation. But with over 350 episodes to choose from, which ones stand out as the best? In this countdown, we'll be exploring the top 10 best Family Guy episodes that will make you laugh, cry, and maybe even question the sanity of Peter Griffin. So let's get started and find out which episodes made the cut. Starting with number 10 on our list, we have Death is a Bitch. Peter and Lois are having some freaky time in the bed when Lois discovers a problem.
Oh my God, I found a lump, a breast lump.
With this terrifying discovery, Lois becomes worried that Peter might have breast cancer, and yes, men can have breast cancer too. So she decides to have him visit a doctor. And knowing Peter, we know that he will do anything but see a doctor.
Oh, no, I'm not gonna see a doctor, Lois.
Well, one thing leads to another, and Peter ends up seeing a doctor anyways. And fortunately for him, all of his reports come negative, and Peter gets another chance at life. Now, what should have been a celebration for Peter soon turns into another drama after he notices the medical bill.
Whoa, is this the price of my bill or my phone number?
Your phone number.
But Peter, being Peter, still decides to not pay his bill and decides that it would be a great idea to put deceased instead of his name, in fact.
Where it says sex, I'll write no thanks, I'm dead. It's bulletproof.
Later, Peter's family is having turkey dinner to celebrate Peter's health, when suddenly an uninvited guest shows up at the door.
Who are you?
I'm Callista Flockhart. Who the hell do you think I am? I'm Death.
This comes as a shock to Peter, who informs Death that he must have gotten the wrong address. But Mr. Death pulls out the Peter's medical bill and shows him that he clearly wrote deceased over there.
Peter, is that your handwriting? What?
With that being said, Peter is now on the death row, and there's nothing anyone can do. Maybe except Stewie, who is a bit too exhilarated to meet Death.
Hello, I'm Stewie. Big fan.
Excited to meet Death, Stewie invites Death to have dinner with them, and after learning there is freshly baked turkey on the table, even Death himself can't turn down the request. Oh boy, he gobbled some sausages, I'm sure. Well, since the dinner is finished, it's time for Death to do his job. But before Death takes Peter, he has some words to say to his beloved family.
Meg, you're the man of the family now. Be strong.
Oh, Daddy.
Stewie, I guess I'm not gonna be here to see you become a man. Brian. Oh, God.
After giving one hug to crying Lois, Peter leaves with Death. But on their way out, Peter decides to run for his life, literally.
Ah, my ankle! Ah!
Maybe you can't, Mr. Death. Well, since Mr. Death is unable to do his job anymore, Peter gets a few more days to live. And since Death is out of commission, he can do whatever he wants without the fear of dying. But Death has a warning for him.
Can't tell anyone I'm here, for if humanity discovers I'm no longer lurking in the shadows, consequences will be dire.
I'm sure Peter won't mess this up, right? Lois is a bit worried, so she asks Peter what he is going to do, so he tells her.
I'm gonna do the one thing I've always dreamed of doing. I'm gonna jump off this building.
I don't think that's a good idea, Peter. This is exactly what Quagmire and Cleveland warned him of, but Peter tells them, nah, I'd win, and jumps straight from the building. And since the rules of death no longer apply, Peter survives and heads to the pub to enjoy some beers. At the pub, Peter gets into a heated argument with some bikers who shoot him. But since Death is no longer there, Peter survives and even tells everyone the secret to his immortality. This causes a wave of chaos, leading to everyone doing stupid things and not suffering from its consequences. Soon, Death hears the news and can't help but feel upset.
Great, the whole world is laughing at me. This is high school all over again. Well, I'll show them. I'll show all of them. Oh my God, that hurts.
Maybe sit this one down, Grandpa. Well, since Death can't do his job, there is only one person remaining who can do it, and that's Peter Griffin. Death assigns him with the task to crash an airplane which also has a bunch of children on board. Realizing this, Peter starts feeling guilty, so he commits to not do the job anymore.
I changed my mind. I don't care if you do kill me. I'm not gonna kill those kids.
Fortunately, the plane lands safely, and Peter doesn't have to unalive any children. Death respects Peter's choice and decides to leave him alone till his time is here. Before he leaves, Lois tells him that they will miss him, but Death has a different answer.
Hey, don't worry. I'll be back really soon.
I'm not sure how they feel about that. Next on our list is Stewie kills Lois. Since it's Lois's birthday, everyone gives her presents. Brian, who is down bad for Lois, gives her 2 tickets to a cruise hoping that he would get a chance to go with her. But Lois chooses Peter instead, so off they go. But while all the cruise trip craze, they forgot one important fella, Stewie. And knowing Stewie, he won't ever let aside such disrespect. So he plans to humiliate Lois after she comes back. All right, what else is he gonna do next?
And then what are you gonna do?
Let's see.
You gonna shower her off after all that candle wax?
No, I'm gonna keep her filthy.
Brian, I think you went a bit too far with it. He's still a baby. Later at night, while everyone is sleeping, Stewie sneaks into the cruise ship and finds Lois, who is all alone, by herself.
What are you doing with a gun?
Something I should have done a very long time ago.
Well, I think that was it for Lois. Let's see if Stewie feels any remorse about it. I was wrong. He's still the same.
I did it! I killed her! She's dead! Ow! Ow! Mommy! Mommy! Oh yeah, that's right.
With Lois missing, the police file a search report for her. And after 6 days of non-stop search, Joe returns with some bad news.
I'm afraid you're just gonna have to accept the fact that she's gone.
A year passes by and everyone has already moved on since Lois went missing. One day, Stewie is with Brian at the dinner table when he confesses the dark truth.
My God, you did it.
Stewie knows that no one will suspect him since he's just a baby, but not Brian. While Brian is sniffing around evidence, no pun intended, Peter is out there partying with his friends since he got rich from the life insurance that he had placed on Lois just before the night she died. How convenient, right? I mean, who wouldn't be suspicious if you just blurt out such sensitive information at a time like this? Come on, Peter! With the suspicion on his shoulder, Peter becomes a prime suspect, so Joe and his fellas decide to do a little bit of investigation. In the meantime, Stewie is also trying to hide the evidence of Lois's murder, which he casually dumps into the garbage can outside their house. Just then, Joe and others arrive at Peter's house, and if the god has given them a divine intervention, they decide to search through the trash in case there is any evidence laying around there. Wow, what a coincidence. With Peter being the prime suspect, he is soon arrested and put to a trial in Quahog's courthouse.
I can't believe Dad killed Mom.
Oh honey, he wished he did, but sadly he's just an innocent man today. But that's not how the court thinks, so after gathering all witnesses and evidence,
we find Peter Griffin guilty of murder in the first degree.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
But just before Peter is announced to be in prison for life, the victim herself barges into the courtroom and tells everyone who is the real culprit.
It was Stewie!
Well, that was a great way to end the episode. How suspenseful. The upcoming episode on the list is the sequel to the previous episode, also known as Lois Kills Stewie. Lois, who is still miraculously alive, tells everyone of the story how Stewie shot her at point-blank range and threw her body into the ocean. Fortunately, a merman saved her and even tended to her wounds. Just like the legends, the merman wanted a piece of that Loisy, but since he is half fish, Lois gives him a slap and runs away while he dies of thirst on land. Talk about a great way to repay the debt. After leaving behind the fish guy, Lois starts walking towards a human settlement, but since she has lost all of her memories due to amnesia, she can only hop around from one place to another till she eventually regains her memories and returns back to Quahog. Joe immediately dispatches police to search for Stewie, while in the meantime, Peter's family returns home since Lois is finally back. But when they return home, they find Stewie at the door, pointing a gun at them. I guess that's one way to return home after missing for 1 year. Peter is shocked by this revelation and can't help but ask Stewie about his village origin.
Stewie, how long you been all messed up and evil like this?
He was evil all along. You guys just didn't pay any attention to him. Maybe this is why he turned out to be gay. Just then, Joe knocks on the door to ask them if they are all okay. So Stewie has Brian answer at the door.
Yes, Joe, everything's fine.
Oh, okay, good.
Now that Joe is taken care of, Stewie makes everyone sit on the sofa so he can keep an eye on them. But while he is doing so, he gets hungry. So he goes to Lois and has her feed him. But before Stewie can feast on those scrumptious melons, Cleveland barges in without knocking on the door. Out of fear of a black man entering the house without any notice, spooked Stewie shoots him without any hesitation. Oh well, there goes Cleveland. Since Stewie has committed yet another murder, he has no choice but to tie everyone up and initiate his plan B. He grabs Brian and takes him somewhere, but when Brian asks him where they are going,
You'll know soon enough, Brian. The world will know soon enough.
In the meantime, Peter and his family somehow manage to free themselves and start digging through Stewie's room to find something that can be used against him. This is when Lois accidentally discovers Stewie's secret room, where he is hiding all sorts of weapons that he planned to kill her with. Talk about hitting a jackpot. Stewie and Brian finally arrive at their destination, which is the CIA's headquarters. Stewie, using his gigabrain, easily infiltrates the master room and hacks into the satellites capable of controlling all the world's power grids. With such power in his hands, Stewie is able to make the CIA accept any of his requests, so he chooses the only one thing that he always dreamt of: world domination.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special message from the new president of the world.
Greetings, loyal minions.
With gaining such power, Stewie decides to introduce some new laws.
Also, as I've had quite enough of the fat man, anyone who sees Peter Griffin must throw apples at him.
Lois, who has gone a year without much action, can't bear to have no freaky time with Peter, so she decides this time to put an end to all this. Lois grabs the weapons from Stewie's secret stash and heads out to give Stewie a taste of his own medicine. The fight between the mother and son is glorious, but in the end, there can only be one winner.
Go ahead, Lois. Do it. Shoot me. Shoot your little baby, Stewie.
However, she's unable to do it since he is her baby after all. But Peter, on the other hand, doesn't share the same sentiments. While Peter and Lois share a sad hug since their baby is dead, Stewie takes off his simulation gear as it is revealed that everything that just happened was nothing but a simulation of Stewie's imagination. Unlike the previous episode, how anticlimactic. Fortunately, the next episode on our list is even bigger of a banger as we are finally crossed with Family Guy's biggest rival, the Simpsons guy. The episode starts with Peter making a bunch of feminists angry with his jokes, which leads to them rioting against him.
Peter, this is getting out of hand. I don't feel safe in my own home. Maybe we should get out of Quahog for a while.
No, she's right.
I think she's right, Peter. This ain't really time for more bricks. Well, for the first time, Peter accepts Lois's request, and so they head out to find a place to stay for a few days. But on their way, they stop by a gas station to stretch their legs. But by the time they return, their car is stolen by a sneaky thief.
We're stuck here, Peter, and we don't even know where we are.
Well, there's a sign.
Oh yes, the glorious Springfield. I wonder in which state though. I guess we will never know. With that being said, Griffins are exhausted, not to mention hungry, so they head to the Quickie Mart, where the scrumptious donuts shine upon their eyes. Unfortunately, they are broke since their wallets were left in the car. However, a kind and friendly Homer Simpson offers to buy for them. Peter and Homer hit it off right from the start, so much so that Homer invites his family to stay at their home. The Griffins love the Simpsons, and they instantly bond with each other due to how similar they are. Stewie and Bart quickly become best friends after learning that they both have a secret weapon closet and their love for being mean to people for no reason. Meg and Lisa, on the other hand, are a tad bit different, as Lisa, despite being younger than Meg, is far more mature. So she teaches Meg a few things to feel better about herself.
So say it.
I matter.
Louder.
I matter!
Shut up, Meg. You don't matter.
Oh, poor Megatron. Peter and Homer complain to the police about Peter's stolen car, but after getting no response, they decide to search for it themselves.
All right, Peter. If we're gonna find your car, we gotta think like a car. So let's fill up at that gas station.
So they decide to hit up a gas station and drink some gasoline to hasten their pace. But when drinking gasoline doesn't work, they decide to ingest it from a different hole.
Oh, crap.
No wonder women live longer than men. Peter and Homer aren't quitters, so they keep on trying various strategies to find their car, which ranges from doing a car washing show, which isn't exactly what I would want to show to our younger audience, to using a giant-ass magnet to attract the stolen car. But all of the ideas fail without any big response. Just when Peter is about to give up, his car magically appears out of nowhere and hits him right in the back.
Oh dear, I was using that car as pants.
And it turns out that some old guy lost his pants in the woods who had to take some drastic measures. Now that Peter has recovered his old car, he's about to say goodbye to Springfield. But before he leaves, he throws one last appreciation to his new best friend, Homer.
Here you go. Pawtucket Patriot Ale. The best Quahog has to offer.
But this sparks a controversy in the bar, since the beer turns out to be a copy of Springfield's Duff, with just some new label placed on top of it. Duff's attorney charges Quahog's Pawtucket with a copyright infringement case, and thus Peter and other residents of Quahog are forced to serve as witnesses in the courtroom for justice. The end result is in the favor of Duff, and the jury announces that from now on, all factories of Pawtucket will be closed and shut down. I guess we ain't gonna see him this time. With Peter and Quahog's many residents losing jobs, Griffins are about to leave Springfield when Simpsons decide to bid them a farewell. Stewie, who had a blast spending this time with Bart, is excited to add him on Facebook so they can talk later when he returns home. But Bart is freaked out by Stewie's shady behavior, so he tells him that they can't be friends.
But if we don't keep in touch, I'll kill myself.
That's what I'm talking about. Later, dude.
Is this love still platonic? While Stewie is still going through that sudden rejection, Homer still feels guilty because Peter and so many other people lost their jobs because of him. So he tries apologizing to Peter, but Peter had enough of him.
I'm saying the Simpsons suck.
Oh, Peter, you shouldn't have really said that in front of the Simpsons. This causes Homer to get angry, so he punches Peter in retaliation. Peter punches him back, leading to a huge brawl between them. The brawl doesn't stop till both of them have almost destroyed the whole Springfield, including the nuclear reactor plant that Homer works in. But in the end, the episode ends with Stewie still not being over Bart's rejection, putting an end to one of my personal favorite episodes in all of Family Guy. The next episode on our list is one of the weirdest Family Guy episodes, Yug Yilmaf. I know, even the name sounds weird, but just wait till you see the real weird stuff. The episode starts with Brian trying to rizz up a girl at a bar, but a random rich douchebag steals his chances from him. Brian, not willing to back down, blurts out that he has a time machine which makes the girl instantly wet for him. Well, that was easy, just like how our ancestors used to do it.
I have a time machine.
You do?
Yeah, you want to see it?
Yes, I want to see it.
Brian uses the time machine to bag multiple chicks, but his luck runs out when a girl realizes that the time machine doesn't belong to him.
All right, to be completely honest, and because we've already had sex, it's not mine. I use it all the time, and the owner has no idea. In fact, he'd kill me if he knew.
Fortunately for Brian, Stewie still has no idea that he is using his time machine. If that was it, but the girl informs him that the machine shows how many years he has traveled. This makes Brian mortified, so to fix it, he does the most stupid thing, dial the thing back down. This causes the time machine to break, which causes a huge explosion, reversing the time flow of the whole world except just Stewie and Brian, who were inside the time machine.
God, everything's moving backward.
Reverse the direction of time. Stewie, what does that even mean? I don't get it. Okay, now I get it.
If the whole world was just moving backwards, things would have been simpler to fix. But Stewie soon realizes the whole time is not just moving backwards, it's even accelerating.
What the hell was that? Ah!
What? What's the matter?
Dear God, I'm unteething.
Well, who said that they weren't affected by the backward flow of time? Realizing that both of them are not immune to the reverse flow of time, Stewie starts panicking and hastens the new formula of the time machine. But unfortunately for Stewie, the time keeps running short, not to mention that they are not immune to the reverse flow of time anymore, which means that they will have to suffer the terrible nausea once again.
I've regressed to my pre-ambulatory stage. I can no longer walk.
If this wasn't already terrifying enough, Stewie, who was supposed to fix the time machine, starts reverting back into his infant stage, which means his birth date is coming soon.
Brian, help! It's up to you! You've got to restore the flow of time! My life depends on it!
With Stewie out of the equation, Brian has to solve the difficult quantum equations by himself. While Brian is trying his best to find a way to fix the problem, Stewie is getting pushed back inside Lois to go back to where he came from. Fortunately, just then, Brian realizes that the best way to fix any broken machine is to just restart it. By doing this, the flow of the time returns back to normal. The episode comes to an end, with Stewie being reborn after suffering through the worst fetish ever known to man. Aside from that big head. Coming from a big head, Peter Smallbrain decides that it would be fun to mess with the butterfly effect, and the results are in front of you. The episode, Meet the Quagmire, starts with Peter being at the Drunken Clam with his friends, where he shares his regrets of not being wild and playful when he was 18. He blames it all on Lois and complains that she ruined his chances of having fun by dating him. While he's being regretful, Death enters the bar to enjoy some cold beer, when Peter begs it to have him turn back 18 once again. Death can't just manipulate the rules of the universe like this, so it obviously declines Peter's request.
Coming up next on ESPN, Women's Professional...
All right, you win. Let's go.
Death takes Peter back to 1984, when he was still 18. Peter is extremely excited, but Death tells him that he's only here for one day. While Peter is meeting his friends who were also 18 at the time, Lois comes waving her hips in a black bikini.
Wow, 18-year-old Lois.
Lois reminds Peter of their date that night, but Peter dumps her since he wants to enjoy his life by not constantly listening to her blabber. The fun involves him playing retro games with Cleveland and hooking up with Molly Ringwald for a quickie. But just before things are about to get spicy, Death throws the bucket and reminds him that his time is up. After arriving at the present time, Peter quietly heads back to bed and sleeps before Lois notices him. But the following morning, when Peter wakes up, he finds that the world has changed, and in this timeline, he is married to Molly Ringwald.
Honey, you awake?
Morning, sweetie.
Ah! Who the hell are you? What are you doing in my bed?
Peter, it's me, Molly, your wife.
Same, Peter. I too would be shocked to see a random woman in my bed. Peter runs downstairs in fear and tells Brian of everything. Brian already knows this since the whole house looks different. But Peter is more worried about Lois and the kids. So when he checks around, he finds that Lois is now married to Quagmire, and they even have their children.
Oh, God, Brian, we messed up bad. We messed up real bad.
Later at night, Lois and Quagmire invite Peter and Molly to dinner. Peter is terrified to see Quagmire's blood in his kids and asks Lois why she married Quagmire.
Oh, Glenn, I love all your sex jokes and your dirty puns. That's why I married you.
Didn't know Lois was this thirsty. Peter had enough of his life, so he asks Brian what they can do. Brian tells Peter that the only way to fix this problem is by going back in time and undoing all the things that he did wrong, which led to this timeline. Peter calls Death once again, who takes him back to 1984 for one last time, since he is also tired of the current world. Brian has Peter promise that he won't mess up, but Peter being Peter still messes up by forgetting that he had the date night planned with Lois. Peter has no option but to call Death to reset the time, but Death gives him a middle finger and leaves. Peter is now on his own and has to find a way to make Lois fall in love with him once again. So he heads to Lois's house and asks her out on a date, but Lois tells her that she already has a date night planned with Quagmire.
Sorry, I've already got plans. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get ready.
Brian reminds Peter that it's the same night where Quagmire kisses Lois and proposes to her. Peter knows the graveness of the situation and rushes to stop them.
Sorry, Lois, but I have to do this.
After sharing a passionate kiss with her, Peter finally proposes to Lois, who accepts him, and they get married once again.
Will you be my wife?
Yes. Yes, I will.
The episode ends with Peter being home with his family once again as he tells them about his story of how he stole their mother right from Quagmire's jaws. How romantic. The following episode on the list isn't so romantic. In fact, it might be one of the weirdest episodes on this list, and there are few reasons why. The episode starts with Osama bin Laden trying to make a death threat to America, but each time he tries to fake the Arabic accent, he fails and starts laughing.
This is a message to all Americans.
But Stewie appears out of nowhere and beats the living crap out of Osama and his fellow men. After beating them up, Stewie leaves behind a message.
I'm Stewie Griffin. And don't ever let me catch you guys in Quahog.
That was one hell of a start. But this is just the beginning, as the next thing is Peter trying to silence Lois with a nail gun because she is urging him to go watch Megs play, but Peter wants to stay home and catch the Emmys. After a few fights between them, Peter decides to go and attend Megs play, but this causes him to miss the Emmys.
You are not watching the Emmys tonight. Now shush.
The following morning he is watching TV when he learns that a celebrity at Emmys yesterday had a wardrobe malfunction which caused him to expose one of his balls. This causes a whole 20 angry people to complain to the FCC, which makes them extremely worried.
And as you know, one call equals 1 billion people, which means 20 billion people were offended by this.
Now I see why the number on TV is always so exaggerated. Considering the complaints, FCC decides to censor all the bad elements on the TV that can offend anyone.
It's the Van Show, starring Van.
They're messing with my shows.
Peter is extremely frustrated by all the censorship, so he decides to take things in his own hands.
Hi there, I'm Peter Griffin, and you're watching PTV.
With his own television show, Peter decides to broadcast all sorts of obscene things that would normally be censored by the FCC.
Look at that side boob. Check out this side boob. How about that side boob? That turn you on? Well, it shouldn't, because that's my side boob.
Oh gosh, Peter, that's too much, even for my own standards. This much obscenity and vulgarity causes Lois to become disgusted with Peter, so she decides to call the FCC on him.
But I'm here to tell you that as of today, PTV is officially shut down.
Shut me down, huh?
If that wasn't enough, they also decide to punish Peter by censoring even their real life, which means no more hanging your family jewels out there in the open and no more cuss words. Even the fart sounds are censored, making Peter extremely angry at Lois for calling the FCC in the first place. To apologize to Peter, Lois decides to give him a sloppy toppy, but FCC intervenes and informs them that all forms of sexual activities are prohibited from now on.
Just no moaning, no tongue kissing, no thrusting, no movement whatsoever.
At this point, even Lois has had enough of the FCC BS and decides that it's time for rebellion. So Peter, alongside the rest of the Griffins, marches towards the White House where they complain to the government about how the foundation of America was built on obscene things. From the Washington Monument to the Capitol building, they all look like private parts.
My God, how could we have been so blind?
He's absolutely right.
With their eyes open, the government passes down the bill declaring all forms of censorship to be illegal, which means no more black strip covering the Shinies. Japan should learn from them. The top 3 on our list of best Family Guy episodes is, and then there were few, Peter receives mail from an unknown person who invites him to his mansion for a party in Peter's honor. Peter grabs his family and heads straight to the mansion, which is located on top of a cliff right behind the dark woods. After arriving there, Peter learns that he is not the only person there. In fact, the whole Quahog is invited to the party under the same guise. The whole group is invited inside the mansion by Consuela, who is the head maid of the state. At the dinner table, everyone is gossiping about who could be the host when suddenly, the host enters the room and greets everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
James Woods?
It turns out the host is the infamous James Woods and his Priscilla, who invited everyone here to apologize to them for everything that he has caused to them in the past.
You see, recently I've become a born-again Christian, thanks to this beautiful little angel. And since I'm a man of God now, I am truly repentant.
Is it just me, or standing behind the Jewish couple was not a coincidence? After learning his reasoning, everyone is satisfied, so he leaves to arrange dinner for them. After he leaves, everyone starts gossiping once again, when Stephanie suddenly decides that it would be a great idea to sit at the host's chair and immediately pays the price for it.
Did the court hit me?
With Stephanie dead, everyone starts panicking and starts running for their lives as they put the blame on James Woods for the murder. Fortunately, everyone arrived in their cars, so they are able to use them to get away quickly. But just then, a tree falls onto the bridge and destroys it. And you are now stuck at a killer's mansion. With no way to get back home, the group can only gather around and think of a way to get out of the situation. They try to contact police, but the phone service is down, and when they try using the landlines, Brian informs them that the connection is cut off. This causes another panic to strike amongst the crowd, so as the oldest of them, Herbert, takes the call to calm them down.
Whoa, all right, look. Everybody but Chris, just keep your pants on and let's figure a way out of this.
He might be old, but he got that dog in him. With that being said, everyone decides to stay together and look for James Woods before he starts looking for them. But just then, the wanted man appears out of nowhere and gives everyone a spook. They immediately confront him and ask him about his motives of killing Stephanie. But when James tries to play innocent, they take him to see Stephanie's body to make him spill the beans. But when they get there, they realize that her body is nowhere to be found. This makes the group assured that James is the killer, so they are about to hold him down when suddenly the power goes down, and when it comes back, the group finds James's corpse lying on the ground with a knife in his back.
He's dead.
Oh my god!
Priscilla faints after seeing this, so the group lays her down on the sofa and starts thinking of the person who could have murdered him. This is where they discover the hidden gun on the shelf, which shot Stephanie. Joe explains that the person who set up this gun wanted to shoot James Wood, who was going to sit at the host's chair, but Stephanie accidentally sat there, so she died as an accident. With the clues that they have on their hands, the group splits into teams to look for any clue, and that's when they find a hidden room which contains James's diary, in which he states that Muriel has some misgivings with him regarding pharmacy. This makes Muriel the main suspect, but when they are about to catch her, lightning flashes and Muriel is nowhere to be found.
Muriel, just surrender quietly. It'll be easier for us all if you...
She's gone!
After Muriel's disappearance, Peter decides that they have had enough, so it's about time they do something. So he has everyone split into groups and search for Muriel. But when they find her, she's not even alive anymore! Stabbed with the same knife that killed James, Muriel is colder than the steak in your freezer. With Muriel gone, 3 people have died in the mansion, and if they don't do anything, more will continue to die. So this is where Derek gets the genius idea of heading to the highest balcony in the mansion and try to find phone signals so they can contact police. But there is one big problem.
Wait a minute. Something's not right here.
Oh my god! Priscilla's gone!
Quagmire's nose is even more sharp than Brian's as he immediately senses that Priscilla isn't in the room anymore. Just then, Derek, who is trying to find phone service, turns around and finds the killer standing in front of him. The killer slams Derek with a blunt object, which throws him off the balcony, ending his short-lived life. The group soon arrives at the site and finds Derek's corpse lying around twisted like a scarecrow. They also notice the blunt damage on his head, so they know how he died. After looking around, they find that one of the golden awards is missing, which might be the weapon used for the murder. Joe asks everyone to gather around him so they can search in peace. As they are going through all the rooms, they enter Tucker's room, where Meg spots the murder weapon right below his bed. Tucker tries to calm everyone down by telling them he doesn't know how it got there, but just then Peter feels something dripping on him, and when they check the ceiling, they find Priscilla's body up there. Tucker is placed under handcuffs and the case is finished. The following morning, everyone is getting ready to leave when Lois meets Diane to ask if she's alright, since Tucker and she have been co-partners for the last 15 years. While talking with Lois, Diane slips up and reveals that she framed Tucker and was manipulating everything behind the string. She points the gun at Lois and leads her outside to dispose of her, but just when she is about to shoot her, Stewie shoots her first, thus saving Lois in the process. Yeah, I know, Stewie. She's your prey. No one's gonna take her from you. So these were the top 10 best episodes of Family Guy. Let us know if your favorite episode made the list. And if you like this content, make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel so you can continue to expect even more hilarious content from us. Until then, peace.